see in her mind's eye. And when she would look at a person, she said that she could see their whole life in its totality, complete, from birth through their life until death, as if she were watching a movie.
The well-known Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanga has left us with some fascinating forecasts for the year 2025. Even though her predictions are frequently veiled in mystery, but some of her predictions came true, Baba Vanga's predictions certainly provide an intriguing look into the possible future of our world, even though they are frequently vague and subject to interpretation. Her predictions serve as a reminder of the significance of being aware of our actions and their effects, regardless of whether they materialize. Baba Vanga, whose full name was Vangelia Pandeva Gushtarova, was born in 1911. She lost her sight at age 12 after being caught in a violent storm, an event she claimed led to her acquiring predictive powers. These abilities brought her fame as her forecasts resonated globally. She even accurately predicted her own death, reportedly stating in a 1990 interview that she would die on August 11, 1996, a prediction that came true. Despite her death, the legacy of her prophecies endures, with new interpretations frequently surfacing. Let's get back to her most stunning prediction. She wrote, "When the twin giants fall in the New World, it marks the beginning. 2 decades and 2 years after, the great waters will rise and the sky will burn." And decades later, we witnessed unprecedented natural phenomena that scientists still struggle to explain. Conflict in Europe. In 2025, Baba Vanga predicted that a big war would break out in Europe, with disastrous results for the continent and its people. The continuing hostilities in the region make this prognosis especially frightening. Her caution serves as a reminder of how crucial international collaboration and diplomacy are to avert such tragedies. The future of AI. Will it bring dark days ahead? The seer warns that a technological breakthrough will shatter our understanding of reality itself. But with this power comes an unprecedented danger. She foresees a major breakthrough in the realm of quantum computing, bringing an unprecedented technological revolution. This advancement is set to shake up various sectors, from finance and healthcare to cybersecurity, all thanks to the mind-blowing capabilities of quantum computers. The rapid advance of technology is transforming civilization in ways no one expected, in ways that are exciting and scary, ways we are only beginning to understand. Tech seems on the verge of recreating human beings into something new, something altered, bionic, computerized, robotic, superhuman. The internet spiderweb has descended and covered nearly all elements of civilization. The smartphone, smartwatch, and smart home are growing into the smart world. Some people who are closely following developments in the field of artificial intelligence are focusing exclusively on the crises that the world of the future may hold. You know, not only AI, but any development can be both a poison and a cure. Derrida developed such a critical reading based on the ancient Greek term pharmakon. If you drink too much water, it can also be poisonous and lead to death. To summarize, the crises that this technology will bring are inherent to the concept of development. Otherwise, it would not be conceivable. Therefore, if you follow the progress of artificial intelligence technologies, you can imagine millions of negative possibilities, and you will probably be right about some of them. However, optimism and pessimism are a matter of temperament. Due to the subjectivity of the situation, there can be both crises and opportunities. Good and bad are human value judgments. It is a difficult discussion to justify why the future world will be really bad as a result of these technological developments. Even if you say, we are becoming cyborgs, one could ask, okay, but why is that bad and by what criteria? In conclusion, the future will unfold as it may, neither inherently good nor bad. Because history is already constructing itself moment by moment, what exists today is highly likely to persist tomorrow, just as it is. Technology breakthroughs. More positively, Baba Vanga prophesied that substantial advances in human telepathy would be made by science, allowing individuals to speak to one another via thinking. This innovation has the ability to transform how we communicate with one another and open up new avenues for interpersonal relationships. She forecasted that researchers will successfully grow human organs in labs, opening the door for groundbreaking medical improvements. Vanga continued that an enigmatic, unbounded, and clean energy source will be found that could revolutionize how we power our planet. Environmental meltdown. Although Baba Vanga left no formal writings, her words have been passed down orally, and she is now credited with several predictions for 2025 that point to profound global changes. Baba Vanga is also known for her visions of natural disasters that would affect the planet's climate and living conditions. She reportedly predicted that extreme weather events, including intense heat waves in Europe and desertification in parts of South America and Asia, would mark 2025. These interpretations align with modern concerns about climate change, which forecasts drought conditions and extreme heat in certain regions. Baba Vanga is also said to have predicted a wave of water that would cover vast areas in Asia, possibly referring to a tsunami or major flood. The possibility of such an event occurring in places like Bangladesh or Southeast Asia remains a critical concern today due to the risk of flooding in vulnerable areas. She also warned us that the Earth will still have to deal with issues like melting ice caps, increasing sea levels, and depleting resources. Regarding the prediction that a nuclear disaster will soon occur, she said that its consequences are extremely far-reaching, affecting global politics, the environment, and all humanity. This event has the potential to destabilize international relations, spark conflict, and lead to changes in the global balance of power. The severity of this prediction has sparked countless speculations. However, critics argue that oracles can still be influenced by social and cultural contexts, and interpretations of prophecies can vary widely. One aspect that needs to be considered is the possibility that Baba Vanga's prediction has a symbolic or metaphorical meaning. Prophecies are often based on symbolism, and interpreting them literally can lead to misunderstandings. What is needed is to interpret the predictions with an open mind, as well as consider alternative interpretations to fully grasp their message. Global economic crisis. Baba Vanga allegedly foresaw an economic crisis that would impact many parts of the world in 2025. According to some accounts, she predicted a financial collapse that would disrupt the global economy and plunge millions into poverty. This crisis is expected to manifest as hyperinflation in Latin American countries, particularly Argentina, and cause employment and stability issues in developed economies worldwide. Baba Vanga also warned of increasing inequality and the impact of poverty on different societies, which could spark social unrest and protests demanding change. The weird bird virus. For 2025, Vanga warned us the strange virus will attack human life so bad. Birds have been affected by numerous viruses in the past, such as avian flu, which can be transmitted to humans. It is possible that a new virus could emerge that would have a significant impact on bird populations. The potential consequences of such an event would depend on the severity of the virus and the ability of humans to contain its spread. A dangerous virus affecting bird populations could potentially have significant ecological and economic consequences. It could disrupt food supplies, as well as impact other animal populations that rely on birds for food or pollination. Additionally, it could potentially lead to the spread of the virus to humans, which could have significant health consequences. Bird populations have been affected by numerous viruses in the past, and the potential for future outbreaks is always a concern. However, the identification and monitoring of potential bird viruses is an active area of research, and scientists are working to develop new vaccines and other preventative measures to protect both birds and humans. Alien contact. While the idea of an alien attack might seem like something out of science fiction, it is not without precedent. In the past, Various cultures have reported encounters with extraterrestrial beings, and some have even claimed to have been abducted by aliens. However, it is important to note that there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of aliens or the possibility of an alien attack. While the likelihood of an alien attack is unknown, the idea of contact with extraterrestrial life raises a number of questions about our place in the universe and the possibility of other intelligent life. It could also have significant effects on our society and culture, potentially leading to new scientific discoveries and even religious or philosophical changes. While there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of extraterrestrial life, the search for such life is an active area of research. Scientists have discovered thousands of exoplanets, or planets that orbit stars other than our Sun, and some of these planets are located in the habitable zone, which could potentially support life. Additionally, several organizations, such as the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, are actively searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. Geopolitical changes. Baba Vanga's predictions for 2025 also encompass significant geopolitical changes. She foresaw shifts in global power dynamics that could reshape international relations and influence the balance of power. Emerging powers could rise to prominence once dominant nations see their influence wane. These changes will impact global trade, economic policies, and diplomatic relations. Countries must navigate these shifts carefully to maintain stability and foster cooperation. Baba Vanga's prophecies suggest that some nations may form new alliances, while others could experience internal strife and political upheaval. The predicted geopolitical changes may also affect global security. Shifting power dynamics could increase the risk of conflicts and tensions. Nations must prioritize diplomacy and conflict resolution to avoid escalation and promote peace. In addition to power shifts, Baba Vanga predicted changes in global leadership. New leaders may emerge with different visions and policies, influencing the direction of their countries and the world. These leaders could be crucial in addressing global challenges, such as climate change, economic inequality, and social justice. Baba Vanga's predictions for geopolitical changes in 2025 highlight the need for adaptability and resilience. As the world evolves, nations must work together to navigate these changes and create a more stable and prosperous future. Touch to the sky. According to Baba Vanga, humans will reach Venus in search of new energy sources, and the problem of food shortages will be resolved very soon. There will also be a human space mission to Mercury. With more than half of the Earth suffering due to climate change and terrorism, humans have already begun searching for habitats on other planets. It's possible that Baba Vanga's prophecy could come true. Personally, seeing the state of Earth makes me want to move to another planet. Anyway, let's move on to the next prediction. Baba Vanga's prediction about a star exploding could be seen as similar to the supernova SN 1006, which occurred in the year 1006 and was visible for several years. The explosion of a star would likely be a significant event and could potentially have some impact on our planet, such as affecting our climate or causing disruptions in our technology. A star exploding could potentially have significant effects on our planet. For example, it could release large amounts of radiation, which could affect our climate and even our health. Additionally, it could disrupt our technology, including satellites and power grids. The bright light from the exploding star could also potentially affect our sleep patterns and have other effects on our daily lives. There are several stars in the universe that are currently known to be at the end of their lives and could potentially explode in the near future. While predicting the exact timing of such events is difficult, astronomers have identified several stars that are at high risk of exploding, which could provide some support for Baba Vanga's prediction. With that, she also warned us the visit of strangers. While the idea of an alien attack might seem like something out of science fiction, it is not without precedent. In the past, various cultures have reported encounters with extraterrestrial beings, and some have even claimed to have been abducted by aliens. However, it is important to note that there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of aliens or the possibility of an alien attack. While the likelihood of an alien attack is unknown, the idea of contact with extraterrestrial life raises a number of questions about our place in the universe and the possibility of other intelligent life. It could also have significant effects on our society and culture, potentially leading to new scientific discoveries and even religious or philosophical changes. While there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of extraterrestrial life, the search for such life is an active area of research. Scientists have discovered thousands of exoplanets or planets that orbit stars other than our Sun, and some of these planets are located in the habitable zone, which could potentially support life. Additionally, several organizations, such as the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, are actively searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. The world is burning. Apparently, many of her predictions have come true long after her death. For instance, Baba Vanga is said to have foretold the death of Princess Diana, the sinking of the Russian submarine Kursk. She even allegedly foresaw her own death on 11 August 1996 at the age of 85. Even though the mystic is no more, she made predictions for every year up until 5079. For this 2025, her prophecy states, "When Syria falls, a great war between the West and the East will follow. In the spring, a conflict will ignite in the East, leading to a third world war, a war that will destroy the West." As events in Syria spiral, fears of this vision coming true are mounting. Recent developments in Aleppo, where insurgents have captured key installations, have drawn renewed attention to a dire prophecy made by Baba Vanga. Rebels from the Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group have declared the end of the era as they push deeper into Damascus, capturing Sednaya prison, a notorious symbol of Assad's regime. Aleppo has already fallen, and while the Syrian Defense Ministry denies claims of Hom's capture, the rebels' momentum remains unchecked. Key ally Hezbollah has withdrawn its forces, and thousands of Syrian soldiers have reportedly fled to Iraq. Panic grips Damascus, with residents scrambling for supplies and money, fearing what comes next. In a symbolic act, protesters in the city's suburbs have toppled statues of Assad's father, Hafez al-Assad. Before her death in 1996, Baba Vanga predicted that Syria's fall would act as a precursor to a global conflict. She warned, as soon as Syria falls, expect a great war between the West and the East. In the spring, a war in the East will begin, and there will be a third world war, a war in the East that will destroy the West. This cryptic message has left many speculating about the future of the Middle East and the broader consequences for global stability. The rapid escalation in Syria is now seen as a potential trigger for the catastrophic conflict she foresaw. As Assad's regime collapses, Syria's unrest could spill over into neighboring regions, risking wider conflict. Baba Vanga's prophecy, once dismissed as folklore, feels alarmingly relevant as the global community braces for what might follow. The fall of Aleppo to insurgents has wider implications, not just for Syria, but also for global peace. With its international airport now under militant control, Syria's situation could potentially exacerbate tensions among major powers, particularly as Russian-made weapons feature prominently in the insurgents' cache. This development has drawn international scrutiny, with concerns that the conflict may escalate beyond the region. Adding weight to the prophecy, Baba Vanga ominously stated, "Syria will fall at the feet of the winner, but the winner will not be the one." This cryptic remark has left many wondering about the true implications of her foresight. As the situation in Syria unfolds, the eerie relevance of Baba Vanga's predictions serves as a reminder of the delicate state of international relations. While skeptics may dismiss her words as coincidence, The alignment of her prophecy with recent events underscores the uncertainty. That's why Baba Vanga also supposedly predicted the outbreak of a conflict that would affect much of Europe in 2025. Like Nostradamus, her visions seem to point to a war that could escalate to involve global powers. It is said that she warned about the destruction of the world as we know it, a phrase some interpret as referring to a conflict that could shift the balance of power and cause great loss. According to this interpretation, the conflict could drastically reduce the population in Europe and create a worldwide humanitarian crisis. Current tensions in Europe and Asia have led many to view this prediction as a serious warning, though the true scope of her words remains a topic of debate. Apocalypse. Apparently, the latest predictions have raised concern among her followers and the public, as they predict that the apocalypse will begin in 2025. The apocalypse is anticipated to begin in 2025, despite the fact that humanity will not be completely eradicated until 5079, as stated in the timeline of her predictions. Besides, Baba Vanga went on to state that a conflict in Europe would devastate the continent's population by 2025. The prophecy is worrying the people, particularly in light of the ongoing conflicts and tensions in geopolitics. Following Vanga, this is the timeline to the end of humanity. In 2025, the inciting incident that kicks off the ultimate end of humanity will be an unspecified conflict in Europe, which will devastate the continent's population. Then, when we come to 2028, humanity needs more energy. To do this, they will manage to explore Venus to find new energy sources. This may be one of the most unbelievable parts of this timeline, since Venus is essentially an inhospitable hellscape with an atmosphere so acidic that nothing could survive, and no space probe has ever managed to survive more than a couple of hours. In 2033, climate change is very dangerous, and that shouldn't be understated. However, Baba Vanga supposedly predicted that at this point, the polar ice caps would melt and sea levels would rise drastically worldwide. Ever see the old episode of The Simpsons where Russia flips a switch and the Soviet Union suddenly out of nowhere reforms? The Berlin Wall shoots back up out of the ground, and a zombie Vladimir Lenin smashes out of his crypt, groaning about crushing capitalism? Well, it may not be like this exactly, but Baba Vanga's alleged prediction claims that at this point in 2076, communism will not just be back, but will take over the entire world. In 2130, skipping ahead to the next century, humanity will, at this point, supposedly make contact with aliens. What could go wrong? Climate change in 2170 is going to get worse, and at this point, a drought is supposedly going to spread across the world. In 3005, perhaps it's due to human colonization, or perhaps it's aliens. Regardless, at this point, there will supposedly already have been some kind of civilization on Mars, and they will fight a war with Earth. In 3797, at this point, due to any number of reasons, the Earth will supposedly no longer be able to support life. Humans will allegedly leave their homeworld at this point and move on to parts unknown. This is it. The end gonna happen in 5079, the grand finale. And of course, with as vague of a prediction as this is, if this was even a real prediction at all, we know nothing about it. All we know is that the world will end. Yes, the world will supposedly already be uninhabitable by this point, so what this refers to is honestly anyone's guess. Does it go out with a bang or with a whimper? Is there a great epic battle or a rather anticlimactic incident? Keep in mind that this is all patently ridiculous. Yes, Baba Vanga was a real person, and yes, she has amassed quite a following and legend around her. However, since no one wrote down her predictions, no one knows if any prediction attributed to her these days is genuine. And even if it was, no one knows if the prediction would be true. But we need to take a note at this. Although there are many prophets who make predictions about the end of the world, in reality, God has said that no one knows the day or hour of his coming, but God. This prediction of the blind prophet reminds us a verse of Bible. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places, and famines. These are the beginning of birth pains. Doubtless, somewhere people will again start to use such disasters as signs that we are living in the last days. Or, to put it more accurately, since the New Testament consistently insists the last days began with Christ's first coming, they will insist that we are living in the last days of the last days. Wars and rumors of wars should not alarm God's people. The end is still to come. Earthquakes and famines are merely the beginning of birth pangs. In other words, just as labor pains remind a pregnant mother that there is a baby inside her that the body wants to bring into the world, so do these various earthly disasters remind believers that Christ will return, ending human history as we now know it. But my, how unreliable those labor pains can be, sometimes coming months ahead of the actual due date, sometimes weeks in advance. They remind us that we are getting closer to the climactic day, but we knew that already just because of the passing of time. Vanga also said that in 2025, Earth could encounter a different path around the sun. This is a highly interesting prediction and one that could have far-reaching effects on our lives. Mark 13:32-33 says, "But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard, be alert. You do not know when that time will come." When the Lord tells us, no one knows the day or the hour, He is referring to the truth that nobody knows when His second coming will be. Many individuals throughout time have tried to predict the second coming of Christ, yet there is no way a person can predict the Lord's second coming. The second coming of Christ is often confused with the rapture of the church. Many scholars blend these two events of eschatology to be the same event. However, the second coming of Christ and the rapture are two distinct events. The rapture will occur before the second coming of Christ, because the second coming will not occur until the end of the 7-year tribulation. None of us can predict the time when all of these future events will take place. The rapture is the catalyst for the rest of the events of eschatology, as believers will be taken up to be with the Lord prior to the 7-year tribulation. After the 7-year tribulation will be the second coming of Christ. During this time, Christ will return to fight in the Battle of Armageddon. You can read Revelation chapter 19 verses 11 to 16 for more. In the Battle of Armageddon, the Lord will defeat the Antichrist and the false prophet. Jesus will rule victorious over evil and destroy all those who went against Him. The second coming will be drastically different from His first coming. The Lord has already given us the opportunity to place faith in Him through the knowledge of the gospel. Yet at His second coming, He will bring the full promises of our salvation to fruition. After the end of the 7-year tribulation, Jesus will reign as King for 1,000 years, and then He will establish the new heaven and new earth. When God establishes the new heaven and new earth, the world will be exactly as God first intended it to be in the Garden of Eden. No longer will there be any death, pain, or sadness. Instead, there will only be happiness, joy, and life. The second coming of Christ is something we should all look forward to, as it will be a major event in eschatology. If you are presently already a believer, you can be confident in the knowledge that you will return with Christ at His second coming and help fight in the Battle of Armageddon. All believers who have died or been taken up in the rapture prior to the 7-year tribulation will return to Christ to fight in the Battle of Armageddon. While this may be frightening, we can trust in the Lord and in His future plans. Every year, Earth passes the Sun around 584 million miles. This journey is an epic elliptical one, as it is shaped like an oval instead of a circle. The exact shape of the oval is determined by the forces of other planets. Although Earth's orbit can change due to these forces, these changes only happen in a cyclical manner. Even subtle changes can have severe implications on the Earth. it could cause extreme radiation levels and soaring temperatures to affect our planet. It's also possible that the orbital shift suggested by Baba Vanga could be caused by an impact from an asteroid. Is this a sign to the end? Let's wait and see. Social revolutions. The predictions of political upheavals and dangers are not limited to one area, indicating Vanga's vision of global tension. She talked about Putin in danger and European trials. The political upheavals as a result of the Russia and Ukraine war. Baba Vanga has predicted the assassination of Russian President Vladimir Putin. This prediction gains particular significance following a recent tragic event in Moscow that has shocked the world. The recent terrorist attack in Moscow, which claimed the lives of 133 individuals and left many more wounded, has sent shockwaves across Russia and beyond. President Putin addressed the nation, acknowledging the severity of the attack and vowing to pursue those responsible for organizing it. The attack, which occurred at the Crocus City Hall during a rock concert, marked one of the deadliest terrorist incidents in Moscow in over 2 decades. The tragedy has reignited concerns about security and terrorism in the region, prompting heightened vigilance and security measures. While authorities have detained suspects linked to the attack, including individuals with alleged ties to extremist groups, questions linger about the motives and origins of the assailants. Speculation and conspiracy theories have emerged, with some suggesting possible connections to larger geopolitical tensions and conflicts. Against this backdrop, Baba Vanga's prediction about a rise in terrorist attacks in Europe takes on added significance. Her mention of a big country conducting biological weapons tests or attacks adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing discussions about global security. Baba Vanga warned of increased terrorist activities in Europe and hinted at the possibility of a major country engaging in biological weapons testing or launching attacks. Presently, the Israel-Hamas conflict and Russia's invasion of Ukraine remain prominent issues, because the balance of international power has changed. Is China rising as many people think, or is Russia declining rapidly? Might be China's development cannot make up for Russia's decline, so the power to balance the West is gradually becoming weaker. There are more and more democratic countries, and their power is getting stronger, such as Eastern Europe and India. NATO is gradually expanding eastward, and a pattern of encircling China is also taking shape. Many territorial disputes between Russia and China are being unearthed from history. Russia's rule over Tatars, Chechnya, and many other ethnic states in the southwest, and China's rule over East Turkestan, Tibet, Southern Mongolia, and Hong Kong are becoming less and less recognized by the world. The aftermath of the Moscow attack could potentially exacerbate existing economic challenges, leading to further uncertainty and volatility.